Hello everyone, my name is Chase Bibler, and today I'll be presenting to you guys Intercultural Communications Reflection on Myself. And this being the final for our class, I've decided to take a deep dive into a couple of different ideas and topics around culture and what cultures I believe that I fall in line with or a part of. So, who am I? What cultures do I represent? Obviously, as mentioned before, my name is Chase Bibler. I'm from Fresno, California, and the three that I decided to talk to you guys about today are gym culture, athlete culture, and agriculture culture. I picked these three because I feel like mostly out of everything, I kind of fall in line and represent some of the key ideas and beliefs with each of these things growing up, whether it was just pastime activities, and it kind of all just shaped into who I am today. Now, for the simple question of what is culture, culture is defined as a system of shared meanings that are passed from generation to generation through symbols that allow human beings to communicate, maintain, and develop an approach and understanding of life. So the themes being analyzed today are going to be anthropocentrism of gym culture, cultural corruption of athletes and athletic culture, along with capitalism and corrupt dominance on agriculture culture. So for the first one, anthropocentrism of gym culture. This is defined as one's own group's way of thinking, being, and acting in the world is superior to others. The way for this, how I believe it's harming the assumptions related to gym culture, is if you think about it, the gym is technically a place where people should come in order to maintain and improve their physical health, improve physical fitness, and kind of just stay in shape by whatever means necessary, not necessarily feel as if they have to be pressured into behaving or acting in a certain way. Sadly, though, gym influencers and physical health role models that you see all over the media, whether it be television, advertisements, or even social media, all claim that they have their way of doing things, that you have to look a certain part, act a certain way, i.e. being take my products or do what I do, and you end up being like them. At an early age, even for me, I always thought that I had to act and behave a certain way, whether being at the gym or doing physical activity, because of this mindset that has been shown throughout. A lot of these people, however, have these false narrative claims, and although they kind of appeal to be natural, and again, going back off, oh, my way is the best way, steroid use is prominent, and many people fail to realize that a lot of these big influencers are all probably on it in one shape or another. Obviously, steroids is an addictive form of natural and artificial testosterone, and a lot of them use it where you can see have massive muscles, big body builds, all what they have in order to maintain the shape and image that being who they are as a form of a fitness individual, that you can look like them too, when in reality you probably will not, solely because of their access to external things. This then relates into false narratives and identities, which identity being languages and linguistics associated with national, ethnic, and other means through communicative practice. And from this, the gym really should be about making yourself feel good and being in the best shape you can be without having to worry about how you look and feel around others. Because if you think about it, the way that the gym is, we shouldn't have to relate all of what we do into other people. It should be how we want to strive to become better for ourselves. Now, Planet Fitness is a huge example of this. If you see all their commercials, their main slogan is you come to this gym in order to feel normal. You don't feel outcasted by certain people and can just work out without any worry. Now, the two people you see featured on this are Noel Denzel. He's on the top right. He's a big influencer who has come out and talked about his steroid use and has used his story and image as a way to present a popular and more prominent culture about how to act in a gym and how to be all this kind of stuff. The bottom left, his name is Joey Swole. He is very known on social media, especially TikTok, for trying to cancel and get people in trouble for trying to act like they're better than others in this field. And lastly, the buff dudes. These guys are social media stars who take it upon themselves in order to help the public become better. Whether it's just food, physical fitness, they do what they can to show, hey, if I can do it, you guys can do it, but in a more genuine and actual mindset. The second is cultural corruption of athletes and athletic culture. Athletes in athletic competition worldwide, it's always known as the World Cup, the Olympics, other world national events. But taking a deeper look, marketing and corporations have turned professional sports into a global economic powerhouse. So when you think about it, you got to think of the money, the control of the players, whether it be their contracts, their agents, including sponsorship deals that all kind of tie down professional athletes into one big corporation. Cultural corruption, the perceived and experienced alteration of a culture in negative or detrimental ways through the influence of other cultures. This is played out through almost every single big time sport, whether it's the MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, anything you can think of. It is kind of viewed in a negative context because these athletes play for contracts and for money rather than for the love of the sport. Now, a lot of these people grew up loving the sport, but you can see time and time again so many people leaving or growing different teams solely because they want more money instead of the mindset of, hey, I love what I'm doing and I'm happy where I am. An example of this is someone I know who plays for the Tampa Bay Rays. And his big thing is he wants to keep growing his brand and his image rather than trying to perfect his craft at the sport. This leads to kids growing up and idolizing the fame and fortune and reaping the rewards instead of trying to put in the practice and the necessary steps in order to become better. This can relate to some burnout, which is anxiety and stress maintained while participating. And a lot of kids will eventually fall out of sports, whether in high school or college, solely because they just can't take it anymore. Your emotions must be in control, as many view it as dysfunctional inhibitor and competition. Again, we see so many unrealistic expectations placed on athletes that if anything goes wrong or their feelings get in the way, it ends up harming them and their image. For me, I kind of take this, and for how I relate to the athletic culture is I play this sport because I love it and I like doing it regardless of the money and fame that can come along with it. The movie Rudy, I kind of relate to that a little bit, so because he was a walk-on like I am, and he never took anything for granted. He loved the sport and did whatever he could to try to get on the field, and kind of relate that to me and how I take part. Lamar Jackson is a huge topic of debate right now because of his contract. He ended up getting all the money that he wanted, but I can relate this to the corrupt culture of everything because he, instead of wanting to stay at the Ravens and take a pay cut or just be the same, he wanted to increase his value and increase his stock, his money, everything, just so he can have more rewards. And lastly, boxing. Everyone knows boxing is kind of fixed nowadays, and a lot of times they will push stories and narratives rather than actual competition. Lastly, I'll talk to you guys about capitalism and corporate dominance on agriculture culture. Agriculture kind of represents who I am based on my whole life. I was born and raised in the Central Valley, where we provide a fourth of the nation's food, and I'm from Fresno, California, which is predominantly right in the middle. Capitalism, the devotion to encourage the production and sales of commodities, is kind of a big forefront in the towns in the valley right now because so many family-run farms that make up the valley are getting taken over by corporate production solely for the fact that more gain for them. The entire identity of the Central Valley is agriculture. One quote I found is by the year 2000, just 1% of all farms will produce 50% of all farm products, while 50% of all farms will produce just one product. That means family-owned farms will be sold off to big-time corporations. With this, the green V, it's predominantly big in the valley as just a symbol. David seeds were actually founded in Fresno, and the two pictures on the left that you see are just kind of the Central Valley, how it looks. So in conclusion, this class of intercultural communications has taught me a lot, and that there's more to us than just our background and our appearance. Learning from just the other students around me, from my professor, just everything involved has just taught me so much that I never realized would make an impact. Things like semiotics, globalization, tons of other different beliefs, ideas, everything how it applies to our daily lives without us even recognizing just how important everything takes into account. Overall, it's helped me learn to be a better human being, individual, that help understand that we all are different and that nothing that we do is set in stone and that our culture and who we are doesn't define us. Society does not define us. We define ourselves. Now, we can go out and claim to be something. We can try to share and try to cooperate with whoever and whenever we can. But at the end of the day, as long as we're able to take a basic understanding of how intercultural communication works, we're able to know and be true to ourselves as well, keeping our cultural background while trying to answer the question of what is culture.